Paltrocast.
We are.
Hi, Darren.
What's up, Darren?
Hey, Egypt, Mike, a pleasure to be speaking with both of you again. First question before I ask how you are. Am I still allowed to call you Mike, or do I graduate to the Michael level?
We're going to stick with Mike and downgrade if you need to MJ. Either one of those are going to work.
If you call him Michael, then he thinks he's in trouble.
Right, right.
I just thought it was that Nassau County relationship that we had. But either way, a pleasure to be speaking with both of you. When we last connected, it was to announce a new season of the show last January. How long did you have to keep it a secret? This is the two-part question. How long did you have to keep it a secret that the new season was coming? And how are you? Because I do that.
So, by the grace of God, we actually found out about season 3 very early. So I think we had to help hold on to it for probably 3 months.
Not too long.
3 months before we could actually, socialize or put it out there. And on the other question, we're doing extremely amazing. We're blessed. We're happy to be here. But we also want to grab a blanket and a pillow, and relax a little bit.
Well, you have a Warner Brothers pillow behind you, so you can grab that if you need.
There you go.
The blankets, that's not my thing. Either way, I say congrats on this new season, because it's a lot of work to get a show on the air, let alone get to that second season. So I'll throw this at Egypt. Egypt, when did you know that you were going to be a long-term television personality as opposed to somebody who's doing the work you do off camera?
Well, I was trying to think, I think this is probably going into my 14th year on HGTV and my third or fourth show with them. So season 3, I had to think about that for a second. Everybody was around here like, wow, right? So,
yeah.
This is a natural progression for my life. I do believe, and I recognized early on that I'm supposed to teach in some capacity. And I think that looks different for everybody, depending upon what your career, your passion, and your skill are. For me, I'm supposed to teach real estate and wealth. I'm supposed to also teach design. And so I am grateful I get to do that on a massive scale. I didn't know that this was going to be a long-term gig, but I'm grateful for it because I love it, especially now that I get to do it with my husband, because it doesn't feel like work,
Yeah. The follow-up question I had is, what is your profession these days? Because on top of what you do on camera, television host, you are educating. There's a philanthropy aspect to what you and Mike do. You do speaking engagements. What are you these days, Egypt?
A serial entrepreneur. How's that? I run my real estate brokerage, Indigo Road Realty, located in Marietta, Georgia. And so my agents and staff there, I do rely, and we have our Monday power hours as well. And they'll ring me if they need help on a deal. That is what I do, and I love, and I'll never leave it. Our design business continues to grow. We're opening our virtual design department as well. But yes, the show is following this journey. So we're also TV personalities, right. And, we speak and travel, and, we donate our time as well, Habitat for Humanity, among several other organizations. So right. I would like to just say I am a person living her passions. Is that a box I can check? Is that a career?
I'd say so. And Mike, you have a lot of those same titles as Egypt, plus DJ.
Yeah.
Are you going to DJ any place anytime soon that I can see or experience?
Anytime soon that you can see and experience.
You just did this week. You just DJ'd that big event.
Which one?
The one you just did for Chantel. Where was that?
Oh my God, I don't know, but he won't be able to see that though.
Oh.
As far as see, no. A lot of my events now, I still take them on, but a lot of them are private. Corporate affairs, actual businesses that hire my company, because I have a company called Luxon Entertainment that I dish off the jobs to because we're so busy with the show. I can't personally be there unless it totally makes sense, right? But it's gonna always be within me. It always has been doing it for years. It's not going anywhere. So actually, here's where you'll get to see it.
Okay.
There's me and my daughter at her graduation event. There's an episode. You're going to see me DJing.
Or Married to Real Estate. That's right. I forgot. I don't understand how you were cool enough to DJ her graduation party, but I wasn't cool enough to pick her up from school. I still,
Well, because there was no music involved.
Well, does your daughter give you a do not play these artists?
Oh yeah, definitely. She gave me an entire list of what I should play. And I'm like, I do this right. But she's like, Dad, these are my friends. This is my party. Please get it right. And I'm like, but I do this right. I know, but this is what I want to hear. Okay. Literally about this thick, about 3 to 4 or 5 pages full.
Right. So when you're calling the shots, is there a general theme or genre that you gravitate towards? And keep in mind, we're going to keep plugging your TV show. We're going to still keep saying Married to Real Estate, watching on HGTV. So it's still relevant to your show premiering. Back to the DJ question. What do you play when you DJ?
Everything, literally. I've been DJing worldwide since I was a kid. So every genre I'm fascinated with, I know it literally from compa, which is Haitian music, Latin music, French music, African music, which is Afro beats. I literally play it all. That's how I've been able to get around the world, because I don't put myself in a box.
He traveled with Carlos Santana for almost 2 years, right? With the Product G&B.
Product G&B.
From Hempstead, New York, just like yourself.
In Long Island, yep.
Okay. Now I'm trying to connect all the dots here. Did one or both of you go to Hofstra University?
No,
neither of us.
Neither of us.
Because that would complete the Hempstead trifecta right there.
Here's what's interesting. I was offered a scholarship to Hofstra and almost went there, but then opted for NYU and Temple. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. These days, it's weird. When I got into Hofstra, it was not a hard school to get into. Now you tell people you went to Hofstra and they're go, how'd you get in? You must have had good grades.
Right.
Now it's kind of flipped. But anyway, hey, back to you two. So I would have to imagine, being in the spot that you're in, that there's not a lot of pressure to come up with new homes, new projects, etc. That it's a lot of the stuff coming to you instead of you seeking it out. Am I correct about that?
You would be correct.
Yeah,
our phones, our emails are pretty full on the daily, where we actually have to, at least on the construction side, I send a good deal of jobs out to my colleagues and partners, because a lot of my crews are on the show, and we're currently filming right now. So we have to organize and plan properly.
It has been a task to restructure our business in a way that supports not only what we're doing, but all the business that's coming to us, obviously, from the notoriety of the show, and duplicate ourselves. That's what it's been. It's like, how can we take what we've done and duplicate it to be able to accomplish all of this? But people want Egypt and Mike. Right. That's been the trick.
That's the tricky part.
So where my question was coming from, one of my favorite shows of all time, Seinfeld, every season they'd be coming back for a new one. Larry David would go, can I really come up with 20 something more premises that'll be clever and entertaining? In your case, another 20 or so a year, not a problem. HGTV can pick you up for another 12 seasons.
Easily.
But also, because it's a little different, like we're just being our authentic selves and lifing. We're just living our life. We're lifing. And so there's so much drama, humor, and just organic content in that. You don't have to create it. Kind of like, I know Seinfeld is one of your favorites. Curb Your Enthusiasm has always been one of mine, because there was some impromptu on that, which is what I think made it so special. You're not sitting back trying to recite lines. You're just doing what you do, and it's naturally and organically funny.
Yeah. Sidebar, Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows too.
In the case of Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David probably every year goes, how am I going to come up with 6 more ideas or 8 more ideas? Because it's HBO instead of 20 something. But last question for both of you before I let you go. And it has nothing to do with Married to Real Estate coming back for yet another great season. It's, what's the last concert that you went to?
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Well, we're going to the Kenny Lattimore concert this upcoming weekend. Last concert, I saw
Anita Baker.
Anita Baker. And what's funny is our 11-year-old freaked out about it. She loves Anita Baker. TikTok has sort of reintroduced Anita Baker, like this cool young, So our daughter knew every word to every song. We took Kendall with us to the Anita Baker concert. That is hysterical.
She loved it.
And that's not an episode of this upcoming season?
No, it wasn't.
no.
Paltrocast.
Too many rights to claim.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, hey, thank you for doing what you do on camera and off camera, and looking forward to the future seasons. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate
Bye,
you. Take
Darren.
care, brother.
Paltrocast.
How you
Okay.
been?
I'm going to say good morning to you. It's good morning. Good afternoon over here. Good day for you so far?
Good day so far.
Now,
Very good.
how many coffees or teas or energy drinks into the day are you so far?
One large coffee.
Class.
I'm at peak concentration to productive mode right now.
Got it. So the wheels can fall off a little later. That's good to know. Well,
Wheels, they always fall off later. Yeah, this is the right time. I'm at the apex of my day.
right. And all the holiday cards have gone out for the year?
None.
None.
Absolutely none. Yeah. But I got yours, by the way. Thank you very much.
Jackpot. That means that our address book is current. So kudos to
Yes.
this guy. So when it comes to talking to Bill Gould, I mean, there's always so many damn projects. And I don't know if everyone realizes that there's all these projects going on, because you are forever, hey, that's the Faith No More guy. But then there's the label guy. But then there's the Yebiga Spirit guy. But then every now and then you pop up in like MC50 or some kind of a collaboration along those lines. So what keeps you busy in December 2023 going into January 2024?
You know, the big thing that really keeps me the busiest is this Rekija project that I'm doing, where I'm importing these spirits from the Balkans, and you know, kind of introducing them here, and nobody really knows what they are. So I'm starting kind of on square one, kind of just even explaining to people what it is. That's crazy, but crazier than that is the fact that each state in this country for alcohol has its own laws and taxes. So learning curve for a musician is challenging. But so that takes a lot.
Rudely cut you off right here. There was a beer that I got in the mail to cover last night, and the one sheet or the sales pitch says now available in 46 states. And logically, you go, why is it not available in 50? But then you find out, oh, okay, some ingredients are not allowed here. Some states are strict with this stuff. So that was the rude interruption. So back to you, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, some of these states, I mean, for those two, my guess would be that, you know, when you factor in the taxes and everything, it's just not even worth selling it there, because it costs just as much to get it there as you know, for all the work, you come back with zip, you know. Yeah, it's tough. But it's cool. I mean, the great thing is people I've learned in the spirits world are kind of like music people. They love to eat and drink. Generally, or they like pleasure, right? You know, music people like music pleasure. Some people like music people like to eat and drink. I mean, like with Faith No More, for example, you know, when we would go on tour, I mean, the big highlight of the day was, you know, going out to dinner together. You know, it's food and music are very connected to me. So, you know, it's that part is great. The tough part is that it's very connected to eating and drinking.
Well, the space.
So there's some endurance you have to factor in there.
Of course, but the space that you're in right now looked totally different 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago, Sammy Hagar was one of the only musicians we knew of that had a spirit on the market.
That's true. That's right.
And now it's more like you don't have a spirit, that kind of a thing. But a unique thing about you is I don't think that most people who buy Yebiga know that's Bill from Faith No More.
Yeah, and that's intentional. I mean, really, I mean, for me, you know, I've been going to the Balkans for 30 years. So I got into Rekija as this iconic spirit, right? That everybody has, that everybody makes. And I just fell in love with the product itself. When it came to where I decided like I would try to bring it here, I was a little bit scared, because for what Rekija means to me is this huge thing. And then I was kind of intimidated. Like, I don't know if I'm worthy to bring the mighty Rekija to America. I mean, seriously, I really thought like that. And the last thing I want to do is try to make this thing about me, because it's so much bigger than me. I'm just doing it because nobody else is doing it. And I just learned, you know, just how things work with music, you know, that there's certain ways that I saw that Rekija was not being promoted in ways that I might do it that might be more effective. And I just thought that, you know, I could throw a hand into this thing. It's really like one of these things where I'm getting to a stage of my life where I want to do kind of meaningful things. And this is like that thing. Absolutely.
So where is it sold at the moment? Are you able to give a rundown of like, oh, these states, these countries,
Oh
these
yeah.
sites?
We're in 9 states right now, but very small, in boutique shops, in specialty places because it's a new concept. It's like you can't get into just your regular liquor store, that sells a million tequilas because people are going to walk right by this Rakia thing and buy their tequila. So you have to build this like you would build a band, like a noise band. It's really like really like building an underground band in America. You have to play every shitty dive, and so we're in 9 states. We're in California, Washington, Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, Michigan, New York, DC, Florida. I know I'm forgetting something, but
That's a good recollect. Are any of those web-based things where the person can order and it gets shipped to them?
yeah, we have. So we have a web. It's kind of like it's funny. You could never sell to all states as a supplier before, but there's this, with apps and stuff now. They like these Uber style apps where you go through a third party, and you can sell through your website, but we don't sell it. The app sells it. So we have this kind of like legal kind of separation there. So it's not us, and we can get that through most of the United States. I think it's like 28 states. There's still a few states you can't ship to, but
Wow.
we get the majority of it that way.
That
And
reminds
that's
me,
been working out really well.
I'm glad to hear that. That reminds you of a cured version of, do you remember when Tommy Chong was selling his pipes online? And
I
then it turned
do.
out it was illegal in certain states and he eventually had to go to jail for
That's
that.
right.
Like poor guy for that, but not Bill. Bill's staying out of the prison stripes, correct?
For now, yes, yes. Bill is at home right now. From what I understand, even if I was doing something, I might have a few years. Just watching how things play out in real time, with politics. It's like, oh man, I mean, I'm 60 now. If I get caught, I've got at least a 5-year buffer of living pretty free, right? I haven't gotten there yet with my calculations, but if I find out I have terminal cancer or something, it's an option, right?
There was this professional wrestler who's now
Mhm.
in his early 60s who he did some bad stuff and his defense was like, oh, he didn't know what he was doing, he's up there, the
Right.
head trauma. You have to figure that you could use the wrestling equivalent of taking all the chair shots is the head banging in your case.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
decades of festivals and head banging, I didn't know. So
I'm gonna write that one down. You never know when it's gonna come in handy, right?
yeah, and
No, but
the second we know about that,
I mean, the joking aside, no, yeah, I don't want to mess around with. I mean, alcohol is one of these kind of things. It's like guns. You do it right, and that's why it's hard because they don't make it easy for you. But it's really been a lot of fun meeting really cool people, I have to say.
do you have rakia cocktails or is that something that might be in the works lately?
I don't do them in as far as myself, when I get high on my own supply, I don't do it. But yes, lots of people make Rakia cocktails. We have a cocktail page on our website, and there's a lot of bartenders, especially in Texas and Louisiana, that are making really cool stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and we post it. There's purists who like say what that's an abomination. What you're doing, and I get it. That's fine. I could take that. But and on the other side with Americans, Americans just like their cocktails. It's just the way it is. I don't like cocktails myself. I think that's mixing sweet stuff with spirits is really not cool.
I just
But that's
realized
just
I was
my personal
reaching.
thing.
I realized I had this close to me. I don't know if you can read that sideways. But
Okay, I can
Sammy,
see it.
is-
Yeah. Well, you probably won't see me doing one of those.
never say never. That's what we learned.
Yes, that's true.
But that's enough to keep a person busy there. Is there anything happening on the musical end for you as a label person, a side?
Yes. Yeah, yes, actually, it is good. I'm glad you asked that. As a label, there's 2 releases that we just released in this past month. They're brand new, so they're just going out right now. One is a soundtrack that I scored with a guy named Jared Blum. We've done projects together called The Talking Book. It's kind of more abstract and not what people think about when they think of Faith No More. But I like it a lot. And we did a soundtrack for a movie called The Eclipse. That was a documentary that hit the film festival circuit this last year and did pretty well, actually won some awards. So we liked it, and the director really liked what we did. So we decided to release it, and so we released it on vinyl, and it's available now. We also released a band, a local San Francisco band called Sleep Bomb, who are really cool. They do soundtracks to old films, and they play live in theaters. And they're doomy. They're a doom band. So they do like Conan the Barbarian, like Nosferatu. The album we just released is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and it's great. It's cool. I like it. It's something different and something really interesting.
That seems like a real theme where you take something that exists, but you'll go for the more avant-garde version of it. So, for example, anyone can come up with a spirit, and odds are they're going to do a vodka, a tequila, a gin, but they don't go with a Serbian, questionably extinct spirit. Now,
I guess I like to do things the hard way, yeah.
Now,
but if I wasn't into it myself, I wouldn't be doing it. That's the thing, because it's so much work. But it's because, I mean, I don't know. We live in a very mass-produced society where we just, the business a lot of times is based upon finding something that works and finding variations of it to sell to people. And to me, that's just not interesting. I like finding and discovering interesting things that are different. So when I see something like that, I just gravitate towards it naturally.
Have you always been that way, or did you start off like everybody on Top 40 radio and then you got indie and rock?
I mean, I did do the Top 40 radio thing when I was about 12 years old. But then, when I learned how to play bass, when I first started playing, I was about 13, and I got into progressive rock because that was what the kind of, that was weird for at the time. We're talking about the early 70s, mid 70s, King Crimson, that was kind of weird stuff. Gentle Giant, definitely. I would go to my guitar teacher and I'd bring a Gentle Giant record and say, I want to learn how to play this. And he would just laugh like, who is this kid? Like, why does he want me to teach him this extremely complicated stuff? And I couldn't really play it very well. But when the Sex Pistols came out, everybody says now, the Sex Pistols changed the world, punk rock changed the world, but it wasn't changing the world back then. It was very weird and very niche. And if you walked around looking a little bit weird, you get your ass kicked. And that totally, that kind of energy is not much different than me getting into the Rocky energy. It's something that I really connects with me. It is different, but that's not a barrier to entry in any way.
So I find that people who are more artistically abstract in terms of what their tastes are, they can dumb it down for some things. Like, for example, they like obscure music and obscure food and drinks, but then they watch football or something like that. Is there anything that you're dumbed down on or average on in terms of
dumbed down on? Yeah, good question. Food.
So I can
dumb down on food. I like food. I like all food. I like really good, some really amazing fast food. I actually go away from the more esoteric stuff, like, tasting menu stuff, Michelin menu. I kind of think that that doesn't interest me very much. I kind of like stuff that really connects people and connects on a primitive level where, you don't have to be a foodie to really feel something. Right. And that's the kind of stuff I like. I like sharing it with people. So believe it or not, I know that what I've described so far, it make me kind of feel like I get drawn towards esoteric things. But I think without sharing them with other people, I think that you're missing something. I think half of it is turning somebody on to something new and watching their eyes light up for the first time. Like, that's fun. Discovery, Yeah.
See, my issue with food is when they add the extra 1 to 4 ingredients that don't need to be there. And I'll say the same thing about music. I don't want to listen to something that's simultaneously punk, soul, funk, ska, emo. Like, I don't want all that at the same time. Yet, for some reason, when people go on these tasting menus, you see, like, it's a raspberry compote on the cheeseburger with a bonito flake. And you go, it just gives us a burger. Now, kudos go to you for your drink. For Yebiga, you can just drink it on its own, and you don't go, oh, I need to wash this out of my mouth because this is weird. You go, this is drinkable for something that's very strong and potent.
Yeah, there's something very human about it. It's a rural thing. They've been making it for 1,000 years, but it comes from a rural, farm generally, and so there's something very, very common about it, but very refined. So you're right. There's something that doesn't. It's not fancy. It's a people's drink, and anybody with a farm can make rakia, but to really make rakia great, you have to, really, you have to have something more. And there's something about where it's an elevated spirit that has very common origins that I feel like, you know, I could sit down in an alley right before a gig with some rakia, passing it around, and it's entirely appropriate. But there are some fine restaurants that carry it as well, and it works there because it's a really well done drink.
You'd say the same about Faith No More. It's highbrow music for lowbrow people, or is it lowbrow music for highbrow people?
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's the aesthetic. I mean, that's kind of what I do. I don't know, that I bring into it. But yes, I think that things should never be too precious to not be inaccessible ever. And at the same time, it's always great to try to aspire to something better than what you already have. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Wow. Well, I'm going to bring the intellect of the conversation down into self-promotional mode now.
Yes.
I told you about the book that I wrote that is coming out soon about David Lee Roth. And
Right.
there was a while where Faith No More was on Slash Records, yes, but it basically became like, no, you're on Warner. We don't know the difference between Slash and Elektra. You're on Warner. Same thing kind of with Van Halen. Were there any crosshairs at any point in time? Because when Faith No More was on, Warner, so was Van Halen the whole time.
We had a couple different things. I mean,
Really?
one, I went to high school in LA at Loyola High School, and it's before I got there, but only like 2 years before, Van Halen played a high school dance there because they're from Pasadena. So they had some connections through my high school, and I remember they were talking about getting them to come play back there again. The student council was talking about it. It didn't happen, but I was Van Halen. Kind of my first year in high school, when I was 14, was when that first album really exploded. Then there was also when we signed to Slash and Warner Brothers through extension. Our A&R person at Warner Brothers was Roberta Peterson, who is Ted Templeman's sister.
What?
Who produced all of the Van Halen albums, and we were trying to get him to do our album, Introduce Yourself. We were like trying to see if he'd be interested. And I mean, it was kind of weird for him, I think, at the time. So it didn't work out. I just thought it would have been really cool. I loved the production of those albums back then.
So you were able to go from Gentle Giant to punk rock, but somehow appreciate Van Halen at the same time?
I didn't like Van Halen when it came out. When it came out in 81, not 81, it'd be like 77.
78 was the first album.
78, yeah, 78. I didn't like it. I was way more underground for that. Like stoners listened to Van Halen and they were like, "Fuck you," I grew into them later in high school because they just had a kind of an animal power that was kind of undeniable. There was something really great about them. As much I tried not to like them, I liked them.
Paltrocast.